Okay, so now we're going to do the belt part. And both of them turned out close enough for government work. They're not exactly the same length, but you know, whatever. And you can see a little bit of the boot in there. So here's the first type of belt. I'll probably have to do this like 3 times because of my dyslexia, but a boot with these little hangy things. These little hangy things are awesome because you can use them to your advantage in the back. This particular one is a little bit bigger than the nice little grass ones, the natural hemp that you see. You cut these off and you look at this. You get to use that for hanging stuff down all over the place. So there's nothing like it. These I would have to attach probably with some type of pin up here, and even if you have it tight down here, it might come loose when people walk. So I would either use a pin on the sides, like big pin, hold everything together. And also that pin, you can hang stuff off of it. If you go with a regular belt buckle, sometimes they have big conchas on them and they only bend a certain way, see, because you can't put them in the front like that. But always make sure that your buckle ends up on the side, on the outside, because you'll trip if they're on the inside. So even if you use a belt buckle like this, you're still going to have to pin it. And then you got to find 2 like belt buckles. Here's kind of a shiny one. But the cool part is both of them, they're not the same, but they have the same aspects to them. So you can put one on one and one on the other. It looks like one's really long, so you're probably going to have to cut that one. However this was attached originally with screws or whatever, you can recut it narrower, put that back on. You can hot glue it on there, and if it did have screws in there, screw it as well. But we're going to take the long one just for, now I forgot which way is the outside. So as you can see, this is way huge on this. So I would poke a hole in it to get it through there. And always, when you're all finished getting your decorations done, I go on the inside and put a little hot glue right there so this does not come back through at any point in its lifetime. So I would cut this off about right here and try to skinny it down, take a few of those little sparklies off and shove that thing back on. It's hard to get them out, and if you don't want to do it, you can always clip it back here and then glue it to the back side of this so it just ends there. There is no more belt hanging down. So if you use a smaller belt, like this one, it probably just fits one way around like that. Now this one's a little ratty up there, so I'd go back a little bit. Eventually we'll find the hole. That's a little big. Okay, so once you get your belt on there, then you can always put 2 on. Sometimes 1 works, and maybe something like this for your extra tchotchkes. You can always split these in half. Use that part of the chain to help it get longer if it doesn't fit on both of them. Like that. You put it around once or you can go twice. What I suggest on doing on these kind of things is to make sure that you don't just use a hook. Is just go ahead and open up something. Like, see how that's curled? Just uncurl it, get it up inside there where it's really well hooked to it, and then curl it back. So that's about it. And putting the tchotchkes on, you always got to find a pièce de résistance on every one. At the end, there's got to be something hanging in the front, be it a keychain. Even you can take the arms off of these with little pins right there. You just use a small thing to poke in there, and you can actually hang that off of a chain and use old wristwatches. They're like $1. Alright, don't forget, this is really the most important part, is making sure that your belt is attached to here and it's not going to be able to fall down. Because once it falls down and all your stuff's hanging off of it, you got nothing. Anytime you want to put a chain on here or something heavy, make sure that it also is attached somewhere. It can be attached in the back. You can go through all of these at one time if you want to. But they all got to be attached. And occasionally, if I can do it, I will get through that leather to make sure the entire boot is solid. So when people walk, it really puts a lot of pressure on it, and it will shake off whatever you've put on there. So you got to make sure it's really well hooked in there. So like, see how this one's a little bit ratty around this side? I don't mind ratty. I think ratty is cool because it looks really nice and well worn. You can try to cover it if you want, because you can move them around a little bit. Get it together as close as you can so you can get your... I even have some really big ones. So you can get your hooks up in there and make sure that this is well attached to the boot. Alright, and so all the hangy-dangies off there, oh my God, you can pick anything you want to hang off of it. It's just, keep hanging stuff off until it looks right. When you're done, you'll know. Alright, now the fur around the top is just, I would take this fur right here and cut it in half for as long as I need it. Just measure it around, see how long you want it. Cut it off there, and then take that fur and do just like you put the top on and go around it for like a crowning glory. You can use vintage furs, real furs, faux furs. You can even use the insides of like old coats. Here's a coat. That's good fur. It's perfectly fine. Whatever you find at rummage sales. Here's a winding up jacket. That's perfectly good fur. I've already used it before, see? And that's about it. So make sure that you use your hot glue to keep, like if you tie something on here and you want to, I'm trying to look for that belt with all the things hanging on. Anyways, if you tie something on here, always go under and put a little dot of hot glue when you're all done, or a hot glue on your knots when you slide down a little bead or something so it doesn't fall off. So your hot glue does a lot of things. And then when you're all done, then pull off all those, I call them spider webs that you get from the hot glue gun, but you get the idea. Alright, that's it.